Oh, silence, my old friend. I come to talk with you again. As a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the visions that were planted neath my brain still remain within the sound of silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I come to talk with you again. And the vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the visions that were planted neath my brain still remain within the sound of silence.
Welcome everybody who's here. Jennifer and Mel, Russ, Gary, Julian, Victoria, Molly, Frank, Kate, Annie. We'll wait just another minute or so, see if others join us, but you can unmute and say hello if you like to people.
I don't know if it's the order of worship that is attached to the flyer that got sent out with the Zoom link on it. So we do have the order of worship if you want to be holding something, but I don't think it's necessary.
Good morning, and I guess I'm spoiled since I went to the church yesterday to check on the thermostat and to do some paperwork. I got the order of worship.
All right.
I was wondering if there's a sign on the door. Does anybody know if it's just locked and nobody knows how to get in if they show up?
Well, I didn't put a sign on the door, but I did make a couple of changes at the top of the Wayside pulpit. Instead of next Sunday service, it says virtual service only. And at the bottom of the Wayside pulpit, I removed the words masks required and put uugreenfield.org for links. So I didn't know what else to do.
I'm sorry I didn't know that. I would have put a sign out there today coming by.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I would have put a sign, no service today out there if I would have known, but I mean to do it. I wouldn't mind.
That's okay. That's okay.
And there was nothing in the newspaper yesterday.
Thank you.
Okay,
I see David and maybe Kirsten here. Welcome, Pam, Rob, Catherine. Love to see your faces if possible, so that we can all say hello. So I think we can, yay. Thank you. So we'll just take a minute to gaze around at our beautiful community here, and thank you for making the effort to be here. And we are each in our own places, but we are together in spirit. So thanks for being here. So today's service, as most of you already know, is about exploring silence. And just to give you a little outline, we have Annie as a singer, And she's going to sing a few songs. We're all invited to sing along or hum along or move along as she's singing. We'll be muted. We'll hear her. I'll speak for a little while in the beginning, just musing around silence. And then we'll move into a little Taizé service. Has anybody been to a Taizé service? Okay. Which is singing very meditative songs, very short, sweet melodies, and then moving into silence. And then we'll move into a mini Quaker meeting where we sit for about 10 minutes in silence. And if you're moved to give, share a testimony and insight, we can do that. And then we'll close with some sharing, joys and sorrows, and maybe your own insights on silence. So that's what we'll be moving through. And now I invite Annie to sing our first prelude, which is called Return Again. And the words are in that insert. And you can sing along. I'll mute myself. But Annie, please lead us in Return Again.
So this is a song we sing at Yom Kippur. Contemplative. Goes like this. I'll sing it a couple times too. Anybody knows it, please join me. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul.
Thank you, Annie. And just to know, after every song, I'm going to just take a couple breaths, just to build in little pauses throughout our service. So we build that habit of receiving a song, a prayer, words, and then digesting a moment before we move on. So I'd like us to read our covenant together, which is also in the order of service. And it's a part of your beautiful long covenant, but it's a few lines. So I'll read aloud and you can read along with me. We covenant with one another that we build our connections on a foundation of love, hope, and faith, to promote justice and peace, and to show reverence for the divine within us and all around us. Thank you. Our chalice lighting. I will light a chalice in my home. If you have a candle nearby or you want to take a minute and reach for a candle, it'd be nice to all light a candle together. So we're all together in spirit. I'll just wait a moment. And by the way, welcome to people we haven't seen yet. Carlin, Christine, Rob.
How do I get the white thing?
So, here's the chalice reading. May our souls be united in praise and wonder for that which remains still amid the flow, quiet amid the music, cool amid the heat, for that which remains dark amid the blaze, alive amid death, for that which remains while all is changing. For all these, let us give thanks and praise. Amen. Amen. And that's by Frederick Wooden. Okay, so I'm going to begin my musing on silence for about 10 minutes and invite you to muse on your own. So there are many, many faces or manifestations of silence. And I want to start with, before we move into how silence is golden and glorious and a wonderful opportunity for spiritual connection, self-awareness, communal practice, I just want to name some ways that silence can be harmful or limiting, just to acknowledge all the faces before we move into the goodness of silence. So when silence is imposed, when it takes away our freedom, when it lasts too long, it can be harmful. Think of free speech being squelched, books being banned, truth sources silenced, journalists sanctioned, murdered, disappeared. On a much smaller level, think of kids getting a timeout, not being able to talk. That can feel like a real hard thing for kids to deal with, being shushed. Nobody likes to be shushed. Silence can, in the face of injustice, harm in the world, silence can be a complicity, a complacency. We can fear reprisal if we speak up. If we're feeling persecuted or endangered ourselves, silence is the safer, more protected place to be. So silence can protect us. Silence can save us sometimes. Silence can be a punishment. Think of the early days of prisons in this country. Prisons were built with enormously thick walls so that people on the inside could not hear human breath, human voices, human footsteps. Very purposely, that was part of the punishment. Solitary confinement, then and now, has been deemed by many countries as a form of torture, and there's many states that are trying to get rid of it completely. In other ways, silence can feel comfortable, like when you're with somebody and you're very close and there's no need to talk. In another way, silence can be very uncomfortable and lonely when there feels like there's nothing left to say. We can all feel lonely in silence, lost in our own sauce, out of touch with each other, isolated, just as many of us felt during this long pandemic. Silence can be a little scary. I've had people tell me that they're afraid to meditate or get too quiet because it reminds them of the end of their life, of dying. Silence can be boring. We're used to filling up our space with sound and activity and words, and can be boring. It can either be a waste of time in our perception or a feeling of time expanding. There may be a luxury of silence. Just reading about people who are very low income, don't have a lot of money, often live on noisier streets, noisier apartments, near highways, near power plants, near factories. We don't always have the luxury of having external silence. So that's just some of the ways that silence can be harmful or uncomfortable, at least. So now think of extreme silence, people who seek extreme silence, monks, sailors, shepherds, explorers. Many religious leaders of all faiths have ventured into silence to understand how to live. Realizing after wandering, after a lot of silence, after a lot of seeking, we realize wherever we go, there we are. Right? John Kabat-Zinn's line, wherever you go, there you are. So finding what we're looking for right inside of us. And many of us get a glimpse of finding our own answers or answers to life's big mysteries in silence. Okay. How many people have tried a sensory deprivation tank? Anyone? Where you go in? Okay. We'll hear about that at the end. Where you can't hear anything except you might hear your heart beating. There's something called an anechoic chamber, which takes away all echoes of sound, but it's not hearing nothing, because what you're hearing is the internal workings of your body, which is ceaseless sound, your heart beating, your limbs adjusting, your blood flowing. And that can be really disconcerting. There's a lot of research that people who go into those tanks or rooms can't stay very long. It's deafening how quiet it is because you're hearing your own internal sounds. So the only time the body is completely silent, completely still, is when we're no longer living, when we're dead. So while it's hard to find total silence inside or around us, we do find places that are quieter, right? Going underwater, in your bathtub, in a lake, in the ocean. Think of going out in the woods, anywhere in Mother Nature where we can find some quiet. Forest. Sometimes in the middle of the night. If we have insomnia, we're up in the middle of the night. That can be very quiet. Sometimes it's comforting. Sometimes it's alarming because we think we need to be asleep. Or first thing in the morning with our coffee or tea. So while it's hard to find complete silence, I want to expand the way we seek silence to practice quieting. Practice slowing. Practice pausing. Like I'm doing now. We can all move, breathe, speak in a little slower, a little gentler way. So you might experiment with that. You can whisper, you can tiptoe. It's actually a very good practice when you're helping somebody through conflict, two people through conflict, and the voices are very high, to talk to them like this. And they have to listen in, and they do. I've done this a few times. And they kind of magically can slowly quiet their own voices, and it just takes the heat down some notches. It's another thing to experiment with. Okay, so the goodness of silence. I've already touched on it, but silence can offer, obviously, sanctuary from noise, clutter, distraction. How many of us are practicing turning off our computer, our phone, all our devices, our radio, our TV? We get a little calmer, a little clearer when we turn off that noise. We can make ourselves a little less accessible to other people's expectations, demands, and listen into what we need and want. Silence in community, as we are today, can break through some loneliness. Even though we're all in our own homes and you're all being silent right now, you can see each other, you can see each other's expressions, and it's comforting. There's no need to always fill our communal space with words. There's other things we can appreciate: our eye contact, our smiles, expressions. When listening to people, we all listen to people, family, friends, clients, strangers. Often it's best to use less words and more silence. And a meditation teacher just shared the acronym WAIT. When you feel somebody sharing their, especially grief, but anything, sharing grief with you, you want to say the right thing. Often it's better to say nothing. And the acronym is WAIT. Why am I talking? Why am I talking? Let me just listen a little bit more. People will get more to their own depths if they feel like you can have the patience to really just listen completely. Okay, meditative activities that we practice: prayer, meditation, knitting, saying grace, that moment of sitting in silence or speaking some words before a meal, gardening, making art, walking. We can all find those things that help us to practice silence. And just a couple more things. Silence, often we find ourselves, you can put your hand on your heart if you feel this, rushing around, running around, racing to prove something more, to complete something more, there's a lot we want to do. We're doers, we're seekers. Sometimes the seeking is more satisfying than the finding. The questing for an answer more satisfying than the actual answer. So we can be restless. I can be a very restless soul, more comfortable with noise and activity than stillness. But in silence, we really do grow self-knowledge and empathy for each other. Silence can be a real gift of rest, of respite, of reflection, both empty and full of possibilities. As Donna Fowles, who's a yoga teacher, says, listen in, breathe as you go, wait for the surprise. Meaning we don't have to know everything all the time. Silence yields some surprises, which are lovely. Few more thoughts I'd like to share, and then we'll move to singing. If you have ever been around someone with aphasia, usually after a stroke, people lose their words. It may have happened to some of you. My mother had pretty severe aphasia as she was at her end of life. And I remember us talking about words are not the most important thing. was agonizing for her because it made her feel less connected, and her friends stopped even trying to talk to her, and she felt like she was disappearing. But we came to a little bit of understanding that there's other ways to communicate, you know, being together, our presence more than our words. My dad used to say, if you can't improve on silence, stay quiet. Doesn't mean shush or be squelched, but consider that silence might have more to offer than words. I spend a fair amount of some time with people who are living with dementia, as you may, and they get confused about words and how to speak in complete sentences. So we're doing more singing, humming, dancing, walking, puzzling, anything and many activities that don't need words. So on that note, we all need to find how much silence we need, we crave, where to find it, what activities or lack of activities will help us get to that silence. And I hope we all feel that that quest is worth it, because silence really can yield so much. So I think now we can move into the Taizé part of the service. And just to say a word about what Taizé is, raise your hand again if you've been to a Taizé service. Check in with each other, yeah. It was developed by a actually Swiss monk in France who set up a monastery originally to shelter refugees and people from the Nazis. And then he kept going, the monastery going, and created this practice of very short, simple songs that people sing, and then as a meditative practice, and then moving into silence. So we're going to have 2 of those songs with Annie, and in between we'll sit for just 2 or 3 minutes. So, and also the words of the songs are written on your insert. So if people want to take a minute to get that out, and again, you'll be muted, but Annie will be singing. And I will mute myself and enjoy. So right after the song, we'll go into silence, and then you'll hear a singing bowl to bring us back.
All right, if you'd just like to take in the feeling of these words, meaning. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe
So as you sit in silence, that was about 1.5 minutes. And we'll do the same after the second song. And we're just practicing little sips of silence and singing before we move into the Quaker meeting, which will be a bit longer. So Annie, I invite you to lead us in the next song. Thank you. Please feel free to hum, sing, move along as you like.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful, peaceful and at ease. May I be peaceful, peaceful and at ease. Peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful, peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful, peaceful and at ease. Peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful, peaceful and at ease. May we be peaceful, peaceful and at ease. Peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Thank you, Annie, once again. And now we're going to move into a kind of mini Quaker meeting. How many people have ever been to a Quaker meeting? Most of us. Okay. It's usually about an hour of quiet. We sit in a circle, and we have kind of a circle here, which is lovely. And what I'm going to do is shorten it to about 10 minutes of silence, and then you'll hear the bell, which will mean we're open to share any insights that arose in that quiet. And in Quaker meeting, we learn that we wait for 3 times. We have a thought that we want to share, we wait. We have it a second time, we wait. We have it a 3rd time, 3 is a charm. And then then we share it. And we share very short, sweet insights or anything that arose that you're feeling like God, Spirit, mystery spoke to you, and that it would benefit others to share that. So we all have the capacity to share. And I just want to say before we settle into this 10 minutes, if you're used to silence, you know what to do. If you're used to being still, you know what to do. Stillness and silence are not the same thing, right? If you want to take a little meditative, slow-mo walk around your space and be quiet, please do. If you want to sit still, please do. If you're watching with somebody, there might be the urge to check in with each other. See if you can maintain just 10 minutes together. And just a couple little physical tips, if people want them. Having some kind of a mudra, place to put your hands, on your heart, on your belly, fingers in a bowl is kind of centering. It's a nice way to gather yourself together. Little acupressure point at the tip of putting the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth is very grounding to the nervous system. Just a light touch. Having your eyes be steady on something. You could look at the candle. You could look at your own candle. And just think of the quiet that you can get. Some people rock a little bit as they're sitting, like a hammock, a rocking chair, whatever helps you to settle into silence. So everybody clear, 10 minutes. I'll time us, and then you'll hear the bell, and that means we're open to brief sharing. And then anybody is open to hear anybody's thoughts. So I will ring us in and ring us out. And enjoy your silence. As I don't know if it's Quakers or the phrase that God is the breath beneath the breath. So just see what you find in your own silence. That's halfway. Just notice the space between the thoughts, between the in and the out breath, out and the in breath. Listen in. So if anyone would like to share, just raise your hand and I can call upon you. Emma, please unmute.
I wanted to share the words sacred rest. It's the title of a book that I've been sharing with people that I heard an interview with the author on the radio. And it's all about his research into how to help people who are not only suffering from depression, but also just burnout from their jobs. And I have a little cold today. That's why I'm talking from home. And I hope other people will maybe look into it if they're suffering, because it talks about not just silence, but other sacred, restful activities that are really helpful. If your job is silent, maybe you need something not so silent. If your job is very chaotic and noisy, let's say you're a teacher or a flight attendant, maybe you need exercise in a quiet, natural setting or something more quiet, but at the same time, maybe exercise because you haven't been able to get exercise. And it's just really
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Emma. Thank you so much. Julia, please.
I was gazing at the flame of my candle. And sometimes I think there's discomfort in silence, and sometimes with silence, there's stillness. For me, it was useful to settle into the silence and the stillness by watching this flow of the candle. And I was also listening to Bodhi, my dog, breathing, which was really calming. I was also holding on to a rock. So I was just an offering, when we do feel the discomfort or the restlessness of silence, that we can add these things.
Thank you. Thank you, Jules. Rob, please.
Julia, when you're listening to your dog breathe, is that a bodhisattva? Sorry, attempted at a joke. I was at a certainly not joking matter situation yesterday, a tragic loss in our co-housing community. And
Yes.
at the graveside, many people spoke. And I thought to say something. And without knowing the acronym, Betsy, those letters for wait, why am I talking, helped me realize that I didn't have to say anything. It was really just being in a place of grief that was called for. And people were saying almost everything I would have said. And it was a kind of mixed traditions here. Dayenu, enough.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. Sandra, I saw your hand, please. Sandra, would you like to speak? Sandra? Oh. She looks frozen, but we'll wait. Others? We practice patience in the awaiting of the next voice. Kate, please. Or is that Annie?
It's Annie. So it's Annie. You can hear me, right? Are you gonna, wait a minute, my assistant is coming. Yeah, but can you hear me now? Can they hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, two thoughts that came. One is the art of allowing. And the other was, so a noun in some ways, and the other was, silence is a verb, actively seeking the good within. Actively seeking the good within. So I felt both of those, allowing, being present, and actively seeking the still small voice. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Annie. And now Sandra, please.
I just am aware as soon as I am willing to surrender to silence, how life changes. I think my ego steps back and there's a stillness that is so big and so beyond me that I become part of something so much bigger than how I experience myself. It's a letting go of a certain orientation that changes my reality in a beautiful way. One that makes me much more open to mystery and open to death as reality.
Thank you so much, Sandra. I'll share two short things. To sit with somebody who's dying. Many of us have done that. Silence is where it's at. And on the other end of the spectrum, to sit with a newborn. I'll give a little shout out to my 2-week-old granddaughter, Layla. To watch her stillness and silence is what we're all trying to get back to. And she's just born with this beautiful. Catherine, please.
Hi. I really appreciate two things that I heard and it resonated. One is Sandra, when you said surrender to silence. And then Emma earlier was talking about the rest. And somehow to me, those are both tied in. And surrender to silence is interesting because the first few minutes of sitting, my mind goes into, oh, I could do this. I got to do this. It goes through this running. And so surrender is such a wonderful thing because it's like, no, that isn't what we're doing right now. And to let my mind let go and listen to all the things people said, the dog, your heartbeat. And I noticed the stages, like I listened to all the exterior stuff and it's like, but my body was still holding tension. And as I allow and surrender, it's like, then I can really sense the larger inner world with the outer world. So thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Yeah. Others. I'd actually like to open it up to, we're near the end of our hour, so I'd like to open it up to any, beyond what came out of your silence, any joys or sorrows, concerns that want to be heard, held. Open to that as well.
Go ahead, Pam.
I didn't hear or see who's trying to speak. Anyone?
I think Pam Kelly.
Okay.
Yes. Well, there are so many different kinds of people. We're a great variety of people. And for some, for whom being an extrovert, a speaker, is not their accustomed way of being, for a lot of reasons. It could be the whole social environment depresses groups of people. And for others, it just comes naturally, that introverted, sort of reflective person. But the important thing to note is that out of it, without speaking, in the times when it's really needed, it represses change. It makes it difficult to trust. So I think community building, trusting community building, depends on taking that leap of faith that you will be heard. And so silence can stand in the way of community building. And it takes a risk to speak out of the network of what's already been spoken in a group, to speak something that is not already accustomed in a group.
Thank you, Pam. Kate, please.
I have a confession to make. Am I coming across?
Yes.
Okay. My confession is I was really sad when we went to Zoom only today due to COVID. On the other hand, this has been a really nice forum that we're all together, that we're not half in the sanctuary and half at home on Zoom. So here we are all together, 20 of us. And I guess I could say I have mixed feelings about it, but I really like it. So nice to see you all.
Thank you, Kate. Just leave about 30 more seconds of silence to see if anyone else would like to share.
I'd like to. Annie.
Please.
Like
go ahead.
to, can you hear me? Kate? Yes.
Yep, you're good.
I'd like to express the sorrow. And I was listening to the news the other day and heard that the Israeli government, the Israelis have again plowed down 1,000 homes in the West Bank and the occupied territory. They're just looking at it as their territory, apartheid right from the beginning of this year. Olive trees, homes, one death a day with a Palestinian. It brings deep grief in my heart and soul that it seems like people are supporting that. There hasn't been a massive movement outside of the people that stand for peace to really, we know what's going on and no great change has happened there. And I'm really sad about it. I'm sad about all loss, but 1,000 homes and olive trees that take so long to grow, and just wanted to share that. So if we had a candle, I'd be lighting a candle for strength for both sides, that somehow they can come to peace within themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Just like to read a message from Christine Bates. I am happy to listen in and will be more present in the coming months. Wonderful. Gary, please.
Two things. Happy to report that Christy is recovering, still continuing to recover, and making good progress finally from her bout with COVID. And she tested negative this morning. Woohoo! I've tested negative and have not had any issues, but it's great news. I learned just literally seconds before the service that my cousin had passed last night. A side of the family with whom I've only just literally within like the last month reconnected through his daughters. Remember attending their bat mitzvahs and their weddings, and really had kind of lost touch. And just as I'm reconnecting, he hadn't been well, but this was unexpected and sudden. So saddened to learn about that.
Gary. So for all the joys, sorrows, concerns that we still hold in our heart, we give blessing. And thank you to this community of people who care for and about each other. Thank you to Frank for leading us technologically. Thank you for Annie for singing. And I'd like to just read the benediction, and then we'll end with Annie singing our last song. The benediction is from Wendell Berry, wonderful poet. It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And when we no longer know which way to go, we have begun our real journey. Amen and blessed be.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. mother, I taste your tears. Ancient mother, I taste your tears.
Thank you all for your presence, your wisdom, our community. Blessings.
Maybe there are some
Kate, announcements. Thank you. Anybody have an announcement?
I know there's a justice meeting at 12:30. It's on Zoom.
And provided we are able to meet live, God willing, next Sunday, please let people know that there's going to be a lovely and hopefully really scrumptious farewell luncheon for two very well-deserving recipients, Jennifer and Melvin. So we'll have to figure out how to get the word out more clearly and hopefully less uncertainty around whether we're going to do it or not do it. But part of that is that we have to wait till the end of the week for the figures to come out to know what the rates are. But do know we would love to have everybody join us live if they can, to send Jennifer and Melvin off a live and luncheon.
Is
And-
Stone Soup doing the luncheon?
We don't believe so, but it's possible that if they have extra food, they'll contribute. They're often very generous that way.
It is.
Joan, please.
Hi, I just want to remind everyone that Wednesday is the 11th and we'll be doing bell ringing. So I would invite anyone to join me if they are able and willing. We'll meet out front of the church about 10 minutes of 11 and share the bell ringing. So please email me if you would like to participate or give me a call. My number is 413-531-2637. And my email is pillsboo@comcast.net.
Thanks for
Thank you.
continuing to do that,
Joan, we have it on the agenda for social justice today, and I will be there to hold a sign on Wednesday. So FYI.
Thank you, Molly.
But maybe we should also say, for people who haven't heard about it, why we ring the bells every 11th at the
Yes.
11th hour for 11 minutes.
Go ahead, Pam.
It's a sort of warning bell. Heads up. We need to be paying attention and figure out how to lower the greenhouse gas. And yesterday in the newspaper, there was a thing about people doing a meditation. I mean, coming together to reflect on to sort of do therapy around. Really, when you think about it, the therapy is lowering greenhouse gas. That's all we have to do. So we could have groups that are doing that to help each other do that kind of thing.
It did say there's a group in Conway that's going to be meeting, a support group for people who are distressed about what's happening with climate change. And there's a woman who started that in Conway, and that is, as Pam says in yesterday's paper.
Yes, it was the climate change head article. But when you think about it, I hope that what comes out of it is people actually lowering greenhouse gas, because if we do it together, it's going to be a powerful experience because we will be making a difference. And so I'm not even sure it's a therapy thing. It's there's a lot of ways to do therapy, and doing things in a group, actively working in a group is a really positive force, not only for mental health, but also for actually making a difference. It's such a simple thing, really. Lower greenhouse gas. That's all we do. So,
Thank you, Pam, for your
okay.
dedication. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here. I'm gonna head out. But best
Bye,
of
Rob.
everyone.
Nice to be together, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day.
I hope to see,
Russ.
hope to see some of you at the,
We hear you, Molly.
okay. Just making sure people remember about 12:30 for our group.
Thank you. Bye, Joan.
See you in a bit.